And we're back. Welcome back to Mr.Flamingo Reviews.
Woo!
Where today I have just recently seen Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire. Starring Godzilla and King Kong. This film focuses
Let's go!
This film focuses on one major generic thing, which is a new empire is showing up, but it's an old empire. Kong, ever since the fallout of Godzilla versus Kong, has just been, moping around. He's been
relocated to the inner earth.
He's been really just feeling himself. He's like thinking, I want to find some family. He doesn't say this. The human characters tell us this, which is a different problem.
They also show us.
They do show us. But what they show us is just kind of like a day in the life of King Kong, fighting some good fights.
Scratching his nuts.
Having a big smirk. Loving life,
I don't know about loving life.
Hating life because he has no family.
Definitely sad about it.
He's just kind of like moping around. But then he finds his people. After a ton of coincidences, King Kong gets mugged in Inner Earth by a bunch of angry apes and a little ape. And
he does get mugged.
And he picks up the little ape and beats them with him, which was really funny.
Which is really good.
Long story short, we eventually get a nice, good, grand look at the big villain, the Scar King. Yeah, woo, woo, woo.
Woo!
I don't know. I mean, the Scar King is not intimidating on his own right. His big gimmick is just the fact that he's got
an
pet
orangutan.
He's got a pet killer lizard. So I mean,
and his whip.
Oh, and his whip in Nene.
His whip that he uses to control the
No, he uses a little blue rock.
He uses a crystal at the end of the whip to control the ice lizard.
It all sounds convoluted, and that's because it is. But look,
it's nice. It's fun.
It is fun. What a bad, not bad, fun movie. Don't show up to it. This was my mistake. After my co-host here graced me with watching Godzilla -1,
a masterpiece.
I expected my Godzilla movies to have some heart, to have compelling human characters. These human characters were awful. Starring the leftovers of the universe, because Millie Bobby Brown is too expensive to get back.
We didn't need Millie
Billy Brown. No, I'm just kidding.
We didn't need Millie Bobby Brown.
We got, the podcaster from Godzilla versus King Kong. He's back. We got the lead of Monarch's Kong division, who has an adopted daughter. We got her back. And the actor Dan Stevens playing some dude named... What did they call him?
The vet.
Well, he was the vet, but they just called him
I don't remember.
Just called him
I'll tell you what I do remember.
They called him Tracker or something the whole time. They just gave him some nickname. Nobody ever learned his first name.
Big freaking dinosaurs.
Oh yeah. All the monster stuff was fun. That's the main thing. That's why you're here. All the monster stuff was fun, but you have to be prepared going into this movie to not get that much monster stuff. You get a good bit of monster stuff, but I must assume for budgetary reasons, you also get a lot of just people explaining stuff to you. You like Godzilla?
Yes.
Well, interspersed in watching Godzilla, you'll have long bits of humans explaining what Godzilla is doing.
Also what Kong is doing.
You like Kong? For the first half of this movie, you just have people explaining what Kong is doing.
While watching it too at the same time.
But sometimes you only get bits though. You'll have this bit and then they'll cut to the humans. They'll be like, haha, I hope Kong is okay with an interspecies marriage. And then like
That is true. Yeah. Yeah.
and then like you get another spurt of Kong, and then you cut back to the humans, and they're like, "Ah, man, well at least Godzilla and Kong can team up." Yeah, wait, hold the phone. I didn't even think about that until speaking here.
What?
Instead of just naturally building to like the big Godzilla Kong team up, before Kong decides to go off and get Godzilla, one of the humans literally goes, "But he won't be alone."
Because he won't be alone.
How? That's that's my big issue with this movie. Everybody's just explaining to me everything. Less is more, folks. If I'm watching Godzilla, I can understand that he's woken up, that he's absorbing nuclear energy from a nuclear power plant, and that he's going to fight a big friggin' sea lizard. I don't need
For more power.
I don't need somebody announcing Godzilla's woken up. And then we cut to Godzilla waking up for like a cool like 10, 15 seconds. And then like we'll do some other stuff, and then we'll cut to the humans, and they'll be like, Godzilla's in France.
Godzilla is a cat in this movie.
And then we cut to France, and we have to watch these people approach Godzilla, and then they're like, the radiation, the nuclear power plant has exploded or whatever. And then we cut back to humans, and they're like, wait a second, the energies are super low. Godzilla's absorbing the nuclear energy. And then we cut to Godzilla drinking the nuclear energy for a cool like 10, 15 seconds. And then we go and do some other stuff. Have I made my point clear? This was just aggravatingly tedious, because then they're like, Godzilla is going to the Arctic. What's in the Arctic? Which monster's in the Arctic?
They literally said which monsters in the Arctic.
Then they zoom into the monster in the Arctic.
They play an intro video. They play like a trailer to the monster.
They give him his own trailer. And then his big confrontation with Godzilla is like a nice, really cool looking like 30, 45-second little fight. And then they try and make Godzilla like super cool. But I also think it's for budgetary reasons, because they just cut to above the water and they skip having any actual fight. They just have the guy get cut up by Godzilla's nuclear breath, atomic breath.
Atomic breath. Yeah, atomic breath.
And
I feel like I remember we argued about that one time.
well, because some atomic breath looks less breathy and more laser-y.
Yeah.
This Godzilla leans slightly towards laser-y, but some Godzillas, like Godzilla -1 Godzilla, he had a nice, not like full on, but he had a nice breathy atomic breath somewhat.
Yeah.
So it all depends. It depends on your Godzillas of the day. But long story short, look, for monsters, it's fun. They did some WWE moves in this.
They really did do
Some majestic, like, Olympic grade swimmer.
Godzilla is a majestic Olympic grade swimmer.
Everything in this movie between Kong and Godzilla at first is just on site. Like, Kong shows up to recruit him to the Avengers Initiative.
Trying to actively show that he's not being aggressive.
He's like, hold on. He's like motioning him to stop, and he's pointing at the portal to Inner Earth. And Godzilla's like, nope, no, you get out of here. We're done here. And he just starts trying to kill him. And then Mothra shows up. And it's like the scene in Batman versus Superman when, like, they're, like, next to each other side by side. Then Wonder Woman drops down, and he's like, is she with you? I thought she was with you. It's like they had that
the
moment.
Money shot.
And then that big shot of the big three.
The big three.
This was fun for all the wrong reasons. Right at the very end, I know this is less a review and more like a tangential issue with the writing of Godzilla x Kong. But right at the end, like, look, some of it was brutal, don't get me wrong. But, like, in the very end, for the Scar King, they ping-pong him around.
They did.
And then Kong just picks him up, slams him down, and beats his head in.
Well, he was shattered in ice.
I know, but he just kept... I looked at you. Your jaw dropped when he just started beating Scar King's head in.
Because it was funny. Because it was cool.
Maybe I was telling my co-host this. Maybe I just approached this for all the wrong reasons. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe I looked at a Godzilla movie and I thought, you know what? I need some substance.
You get one. You watch your very first
international Godzilla film.
International Godzilla film that is definitely one of the best films in terms of
Substance and characters and
yes,
humans and everything.
yes. And then you go back to this, which is a kind of a reminiscent to where the Godzilla films are cheesy, where Godzilla drop kicks another kaiju while Ultraman, I think his name is Ultra. I said his name earlier before the review. I'm blanking on his name. Ultraman pins somebody.
Right.
So I had fun with this film. I enjoyed the film because it reminded me of that, and I knew ahead of time this wasn't gonna be like those.
I thought this film was really fun. Don't get me wrong, but I was just so taken aback when Kong and the little mini monkey are hanging out, and Kong's just giving him like a wink and a nod, and he's like, "Here, eat this," kind of thing. I was like, "What is this? What is this?"
That was that good cheese, right?
8 out of 10. It was pretty fun. All the humans were useless in this movie.
Don't expect.
It was nothing but convenience. It was nothing. Look, if you're gonna write your stuff based purely on convenience, don't make it so abundantly clear. Like literally, King Kong has an injury in this film, and Dan Stevens' character is like, "Oh, you know what? I was thinking of, I forget what it's called, but essentially a power glove." And then like Brian Tyree Henry, who's the podcaster, the actor, the podcaster character is like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, you know what? We were making some upgrades for Kong, but then it just so happened that the government pulled our funding, but it just so happened that we were done. Conveniently."
And it wasn't destroyed because it was at a base that was destroyed.
But it was in a vault. It was luckily in a vault. Conveniently. This movie was fun, but it just ruffles like my character thinking. Like I'm just observing this. I'm just like I can't believe this. You know what I mean? Like as fun as all these fights are, I'm just looking at this and I'm like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. They're just making it make sense. Like they're forcing it to make sense. But I guess in the end, when you're thinking of like the 2014 Godzilla, which only appears for like 4 minutes in total in his own movie, and you compare that to where he is now, same Godzilla, but this Godzilla's got like a smirk and a wink, and he's having a good time. He's suplexing people. He's
sleeping like a
cat. He's getting up because he's grumpy.
Destroying the steel buildings just for fun.
It's night and day. But that's on me. Don't get me wrong. I like this film. I thought it was fun, but it was on me. This isn't your dad's Godzilla.
No, this is still my dad's Godzilla.
Final thoughts.
Don't expect a masterpiece. Just expect a fun time.
I've been Mr. Flamingo. This has been a fun time. Thank you.
Creepy Time Theatre presentation of Night of the Robot.
Hurry, Gary! The scary robot movie's on! What do you mean I shouldn't watch this? Scary movies don't always freak me out.